We're here in Abu Dhabi. The test is taking place behind me. Carlos is in the car and the Browning is in the second car, and it's going well. Carlos set some quick times this morning, top of the timesheets. We'll see what happens later on this afternoon when I suspect a number of teams will drop the fuel. But irrespective, the learning has been really important already so far for 2025 and beyond. In terms of Abu Dhabi race, the car was on the back foot. It wasn't as quick as I would like it to be relative to our rivals. Our rivals have put performance in the car. I think it's also fair to say that our cars have been quite battered and bruised over the last few Grand Prix, and that has an impact ultimately on where we are performance-wise. With Alex, we had the pace to just about be on the back end of the points. We tried an extended one stop that was a little bit risky, but worth attempting. So we just ran out of tyres in those last 6 laps of the race. Otherwise, finishing P11 with a chance of being P10. With Franco, unfortunately, we suffered a power unit issue that just meant we couldn't continue on. It's a shame. It's not how we wanted to finish the season with him. I wanted him to hold his head high and be there at the checkered flag. In terms of the season as a whole, we've changed a lot of technology internally. We've brought a lot of really good people on board. We have technologies coming online month by month. There's some positives in there in the global view across multi-year. In terms of this year, by changing some of those technologies, we started the year overweight. We didn't start where we needed to in terms of the weight limit, and it cost us. It cost us quite dearly in terms of number of points scored. In the middle of the year, you saw we had good performance. There were tracks like Monaco and Montreal where we're up in that region of fighting for points, put the update on the car, and we're able to get into qualifying 3 near enough every single time from that point onwards. And obviously with the arrival of Franco, we then had 2 cars scoring points during the course of the season. There's a however to it. Obviously, starting the year on the back foot, starting the year back foot in terms of parts cost us. Later on in the year, with the amount of damage we've had, which is extraordinary, 17 fairly major accidents put us on the back foot in terms of parts. Very few teams really, or no teams I should say, could cope with that amount of attrition. And I'm really proud of what Williams achieved by pulling together in those tough times to build the cars that we had on track across this last triple header. However, the learning that we have behind us stays with us forever. That's what I enjoy about our sports, is continuous progression, continuous movement, and you have to challenge yourself daily. And we certainly have this year. And a lot of that learning will apply through into next year. And next year's car will be a good step, and 26 will be a bigger step beyond there. So lots and lots to look forward to in our future going ahead. Welcome to the Vowles Verdict, presented by Kraken. The impact on 24 and 25 is you can choose where to deploy your, for example, your aerodynamic resource. Do you want to put it all into the 24 car early on? Or do you want to change your 25 car, which in our case has some different layout at the rear of the car, certainly, and some different solutions that we've come up with. And so our investment was in 2025 fairly early on. And the reason being that it gives us a good method to invest into 2026 early as well, which is really what our intention is, just forward load all of these years to give us the best run possible on 2026. The biggest impact really on 25 has been the amount of attrition, the amount of accidents we've had over these last Grand Prix, and we've been managing it as best as possible. It's fair to say we haven't been building new. We've been trying to keep back stock so that we can maximize our opportunity into 2025. Towards the end of the race, you may have heard Alex talking about his front tire temperature being low, and his lap time started to drop quite considerably at that stage. About 6 laps to go is where that started, and the last 6 laps were difficult. The reason for that is we did a very stretched one-stop stint. We stopped a little bit earlier on. We were suffering some graining on that medium tire, and the original intention was to try a 2-stop, but it became apparent that actually that 1-stop will provide a better opportunity to maximize the chance of points at the end of the race if we can keep the tires held together. The reason for the tires going cold is that the tires start with a few millimeters of rubber on them, and then as you do lap after lap after lap, the rubber actually reduces. You leave it on track, you wear it off the tire. And after a certain point in time, it's very hard to put energy into the rubber because it's not the same compound anymore. As a result of it, you've worn away the usable compound, and that's what happened to Alex with 6 laps to go. With the arrival of Carlos for 2025, our focus is really working together as a team. So this is about two leaders, which is what Alex and Carlos are, developing the team forward in every regard. We need to make sure we're pushing the boundaries of what we do in race engineering, strategy, data, what we're doing at the factory, what we're doing for comfort. And with those two drivers, we have a focus on the team and how we're going to work together to make sure the car moves forward across 2025. And more importantly, in 2026, with a clean sheet of paper, is everything that we want to achieve together. Franco has been a huge positive for the team and for myself as well at the same time. First and foremost, just in character, he is an individual that loved every moment of being in the Formula One car and a part of the team. You can see that in what he was expressing to the world, what he was saying on TV, even how it was over the radio. It helps because you have a team really bonded together, providing the opportunity to an individual that deserved his chance and deserves to be in Formula One. Second of all, it pushed Alex. There's no doubt about it. We move forward as a team because we're finding different areas of trying different setups, different electronic tools, different ways of approaching the lap. And every driver in the world, every human being in the world becomes better by being challenged. And ultimately, Franco brought that to the team. And then finally, what we saw is that we have a great future behind us. We have an academy that's flourishing in the background, and Franco is a brilliant member of it, but we have many, many more, much younger, down to 10 years old. But the Williams Academy is real, it's genuine, and we will put those individuals in the car, and Franco represents that. The interesting part of what I liked most about the 2024 season wasn't really anything much on track. It was more about what was happening back in Grove, back in the UK, back in the factory, in terms of process systems, technology, people also coming and joining us. Because every single individual that was there, you could just see a step up within the organization. But I think if I had to choose an individual moment, it was when we announced Carlos joining the team to Grove. I wish I could have bottled up that emotion that came with it, but it just meant a tremendous amount to every single individual within the team that Carlos was with us. And now we have a fantastic lineup with Alex and Carlos. How are we spending the next few months? Well, today we're testing. I sort of term it that 2025 starts now, and really 24 is already behind us. And that's one of the things I love about our sport. There is no downtime. You're immediately into the next phase of it. Our 2025 car is being built as we speak really right now back in the United Kingdom. So there's already work ongoing on effectively building that spec and having it ready for February when we'll be testing again. And it's not the work of days, it's a work of weeks and months in order to get ourselves into that good state. The wind tunnel's working on next packages for the 2025 and what it can do in terms of preparing for the 2026 car, which we can't start work on until January the 2nd. At the same time, we're just making sure that we take a review of every individual within our team, understand what we did well, what we didn't do well at the same time as an organization to make sure we can focus on improving that as we go forward in time. So the answer to it is there is no downtime anymore, but it's all about the positive momentum that is born out of now and what we want to achieve in 25 and 26. So you summarized it. I think the weight at the beginning of the year was hugely penalizing. That amount of performance, up to half a second in a few tracks is a big number in today's world. When you can see, for example, here in Abu Dhabi, I think half a second separated all the cars from P16 to P1. That definitely is a hindrance. The second is that we've still got some characteristics that we're working on, which at certain tracks means we go backwards relative to other competitors. You can see that this year in Barcelona. We weren't as strong as we were at tracks around that. And next year's car aims to address a lot of that. And then finally, I think we have to accept that we're just not at a level of combined package as a McLaren, a Ferrari, or Red Bull. And so the overall weakness is just the normal bread and butter adding performance to a car. And it's not just aerodynamics, it's about getting the balance right, your vehicle dynamics right, and your aerodynamics right at the same time. So just treat that as globally we need to up the performance while fixing some of the characteristics that meant we weren't as strong as we wanted to be at some of the tracks this year.